relatives, young and old, friends, freeloaders, hangers-on, and everyone else who's wandered in. You're all about to witness a unique event in history. The very first and very last time that my wife is going to let me speak on behalf of the both of us. However, it is a privilege to do so. I just hope that, so soon into our married life, I do not let Mrs. Freeman down. Okay. And so, as the one who will be calling the shots in this marriage, at least I think that's what you've written down here. So, we'll ignore that bit. Okay. So, for weeks, Louise has been talking about her mini-skirt that she was going to wear today, but it doesn't seem to have made an appearance. So I thought I'd base my speech on one instead. It will be long enough just to cover the essentials, but short enough to hold your attention. So, to be honest, I didn't really know where to start, so actually I thought I'd trawl the internet. After a couple of hours, I found some really, really good stuff, but then I remembered last time I did that, it ended up being very expensive. In fact, it ended up with a wedding, so I got back to writing a speech instead. Firstly, I said we, I'll include you in here. We would like to thank Jim for his kind words and good wishes, and to thank him for his gifts towards funding today. It is lovely, and I do mean this, it is actually lovely to see so many of our family and friends here today to help us celebrate the happiest day of your life. I know that some of you have travelled a long way to be here, and this means a lot to us. I haven't put this on here, but I think the prize has to go to, I can't pronounce the place name, but it's somewhere in Finland. What's the place name?
Espoo.
That'll be the one. Espoo, don't you order stationery from them at school? Okay, so they've come all the way from Finland, thank you ever so much. Now I put here, I think you'll agree that she looks absolutely gorgeous today. Now of course I wrote that, not knowing what she was going to look like whatsoever. So had I not have written that, what I would have said is, I think you'll agree, you're by far the most beautiful person in this room, and the most beautiful person I've seen ever. And I'm so glad that you have said yes and married me. Louise is... Sorry, what? Shh. Yeah, so I think you'll agree that she looks absolutely gorgeous today, and when she walked up the aisle, she took my breath away. That is true. Actually, to be fair, it was more the tears, not the breath. But and thank you for all just the little things you've done organising today. We have got things today. I did not know about that last thing at all. The all you need is love. Didn't know about that. Just the attention to detail we've got. She's made all these little butterfly things that are around. The flowers have been done in combination with you and your mum. We have Bert and Mary cups and saucers that have been hand painted. Glad you haven't got a job, you've never had time to do all this. But no, just the attention to detail is just amazing, so thank you. Now, as you know, they say that you don't marry someone you can live with, you marry somebody that you can't live without. And I think that just sums us up perfectly. Louise is practically perfect in every way. If I had to single out one thing about why I love Louise so much, it would be the fact that she makes me happier than I've ever dreamed I could be. And I intend to spend the rest of my life making sure that the reverse is also true. I know Louise has put in a huge amount of effort in making Stay Perfect, and I think you have to agree that she has done that, and more. Now, having known Louise for 18 months, actually 18 months tomorrow from the day we met, I've learned a valuable lesson. When I'm wrong, I need to admit it, but I don't plan on having to admit it very often. When I'm right, I will just keep quiet. But seriously, I never have a problem finding the words to express my love for you, Louise. If I start doing that, I'll probably never stop, so we won't start that. But suffice to say, Louise, I love you very, very much, and I can't wait to grow old with you. So ladies and gentlemen, please, can you stand and raise your glasses to my wife, Louise. Louise. Now I'm not going to stand here all afternoon and bore you with a load of stale old jokes. That is the best man's job. So without further ado, I'd like to hand over to Steve.
And part of my job today is to thank Ian for his kind words and gifts to the lovely, beautiful, young team of bridesmaids, Rebecca, Daisy, Lucy, Hayley and Karen. So Ian, I think the gifts are going to be given out later, but still, thank you on their behalf. And ladies, well done, you've done a great job. You're scattered around. Yeah, more. Ian used to be a first-class friend. No, Ian is a first-class friend. He's got rude in his speech. And a dedicated, committed, caring, fun father. Recently he's had a career change to become a teacher. This is... Ooh, spillage. And as he said, he told me this on the phone, he said that he was looking to make a difference, to do something worthwhile and get some life balance. And it was interesting, I said to him that I was considering leaving teaching for exactly the same reasons. And perfectionism. I know I said we'd only known each other for about 7 years, but in that time we've shared at least 6 weeks solid of running residential holidays for 8 to 11-year-olds. This can be an intense, bonding experience. Ian was and is an invaluable member of our team, and we've spent many late nights editing videos of the activities so that children can have a DVD souvenir at the end of the holiday. In reality, Ian does all the hard work, and I like to take on the role of teammaker and creative director, I call myself. He's taken on designing websites, publicity, resources, and the now infamous speed fating based on his internet experiences, which you can ask him about later, as I never really understood it. The horn and barrow too, yeah. Ask him about that. This brings me on to the only really bad category. Ian's requires improvement judgment is in the area of explaining things. Peter sort of touched on this. Peter's gone. Peter touched on this before. He's a very intelligent man. I just paid the lady and got my sandwich. Oh, madness. Next category, humour. We all know Ian likes his one-liners and puns. I'm really envious of his ability to remember jokes, actually. I love the way he sort of stares at you like a puppy when the joke's over and waits for the reaction. I do get most of the jokes he says, so he does get a good rating here from Ofsted. It's just the ones about binary something or other and giga mega something that I don't understand. Any of the 346 times he told me. You got noticed, didn't you? Here we go. I do have one joke that's appropriate here though, and thank you. In the behaviour category, Ian gets a good with outstanding features. Because on his stag do, I think some of the stags were expecting Mr. Ian, I can't handle any more than a quarter a glass of rosé Freeman, to be on the floor after 2 glasses of grapefruit rosé spritzer, or very pump, or whatever that wine is that he likes. But he coped really well. Neil's like, yeah. He documented it on social media.
Double vodka in a half a Guinness.
Well, that's the point. This is the next point, yeah. He actually coped with quite a lot of alcohol, including Jaeger bombs and this thing that I called Guess What's in the Guinness cocktails. And it was vodka, which is amazing. Considering we were staying in a family hotel, the potential behaviour problems were scary. But as I say, he held it together and behaved himself. Louise, take notes here, he's a good one. And as I say, Neil was responsible for the blow-by-blow account on social media. And there was no vomit or anything, was there? It was totally bad. He said he went out for some fresh air at one point. We were slightly suspicious of that, but I'm sure it was okay. Good with outstanding features. He's also good at managing the behaviour of others. Take my wife, for example. Yeah, there's total silence when I say my wife. She was in a heated argument with this ticket lady at Speedwell Cavern one time, you remember? There was a riot, yeah. By all accounts, she, the ticket lady, not my wife, was very close to ringing the police, as she wasn't getting anywhere with Mrs. Clarkson. She even accused Nicholas, she actually did, didn't she? She accused her of starting a riot. And during the fracas, Ian saw a way out, calmly booking us into another attraction and averting disaster by giving Nicola the new tickets and sort of calming her down, taking her away from the lady, and taking her through the new plan, which was to go to the cavern down the road that he booked. So thanks, Ian. I hadn't thought of it like this, but I guess I owe you one for my wife not having a criminal record today. And third, the hymns, to focus on God and celebrate the marriage. And I hope for Ian's sake, that explains why Ian was whispering. I hope for Ian's sake, that's why Louise was whispering, I'll alter him. I'll alter him. I'll alter him throughout the service. Someone's laughing, this is fantastic. Thank you, lady. Thank you, lady in the middle. I appreciate you. But I'm sure you'll agree together over the course of their lives. We marry not because we love and we can love perfectly, but to be helped to love. And I've found that perspective to be really, really helpful in my marriage as we face the reality of our strengths and weaknesses together, in who we are, sort of imperfect learners, if you like, on the Ofsted angle, and also who God is. So God, as you say, is the person, in your speech, is the person who is perfect and who we can rely on. And with that perspective, marriage is a place where a man and a woman can learn to love together over the course of their lives. I love that. So, we've seen and reflected on Ian's qualities as a husband. I think he comes out as overall good with outstanding features. It's been great to get to know you too, Louise, over the last months, and to have you join the Spot the Difference team too. And when we first met you, Nick and I were particularly impressed with the way that you weren't afraid to challenge Ian's excessively chivalrous offer to drive his new girlfriend an extra 200 miles home. I love that because you put him, he's alluded to this in his speech, hasn't he? You put him in his place in such a loving way, essentially trying to shut up and go and be rested, rather than killing himself on the motorway after he was too tired driving home, like a plonker. But you put him in his place. You asserted very clearly that you'd take the train home and showed that you were thinking of him and his health and his pretty much almost exhaustion before yourself. And he doesn't always get that challenge. And when he does, he doesn't always... Don't be so stupid was the phrase here. But I thought that was a key thing for me, and it was pretty much the first time I met you, wasn't it? And I thought that was really cool that Ian actually did show up and did what he said, which was for everyone's benefit. It was very cool. So Ian, an excellent, sincere, loving friend who's dedicated to serving God and other people to the best of his abilities. Louise, the beautiful bride, inside and out. Showing that we're sure she'll become what I call a Proverbs 31 wife, a very capable wife. And marriage, a place to be helped to love.
Right. I'd like to thank you all for coming to support Louise and Ian in their very special day. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. May I say how lovely Louise looks? Absolutely stunning. She really is. And of course the bridesmaids, and not forgetting the patrons. You know, it makes me very proud, Louise, to see you producing some brilliant artwork that you display at the cafe in Ilston. It's a stroke gallery, really, isn't it? I've seen some of your work and it's absolutely top-notch. Really, really good. And also the courage that you show, especially when you come over to Fidry Park with me, up the railway, walking about in the, you know, that dust storm we got caught in. Do you remember that? Oh, dear, we rushed back to the car, didn't we? And you didn't complain, you said, come on Dad, let's get back. Oh, you know, we had a good time there. When Ian, Daisy, Joshua visited June and I, we could see how very happy Louise was with her new family. So we now welcome Ian and the children officially to the family. Yes. Please raise a glass and toast Louise and Ian every happiness for the future life together.
Hear, hear.
Louise and Ian.
We're now looking forward to
Hello, most of you know who I am by now. I'd just like to say, when Ian and Louise first set a date for the wedding, one of the first things Louise said to me is, I want you to make a speech at the wedding. So I did no more but got onto my good friend Google, had a look for advice for Mother of the Bride speech. And what did I find? Groom's speech, Father of the Bride's speech, Best Man's speech, nothing for Mother of the Bride. But here I am, and all I can do as a mum is speak from the heart. The greatest achievement of my life is having 2 daughters who are beautiful inside and out, kind, considerate and loving. Since Louise was born, I feel that she's missed out on a lot of things that come naturally to others. When she was a baby, she missed out on crying. She was such a good baby, she never cried. In fact, my aunts once said to me, "I've never heard your babies cry." The next thing she missed out on was the terrible twos. She was so loving and happy, never a tantrum, always did as she was told, and I could always reason with her. And Ian, I only hope it's the same for you. A bit later on came the stroppy teenage years. You guessed it, Louise missed out on that too. I always knew where she was and who she was with, usually with her sister Hayley. They were always so close, being brought up, they were so close. They'd swap clothes, and sometimes one of them would come down in a top and the other one would say, "I was going to wear that one today." But that was the end of it. There was never any arguments. At 14, Louise had the operation on her spine and at times has been in terrible pain, but she's never let it get her down. She's never once said, "Why me?" and has taken everything in her stride. She's always been so loving and has a hug for everyone and instinctively knows when anyone needs a hug, don't you? I'm so happy for how things have turned out for Louise since she met Ian. They seem to hit it off straight away. I can remember the excitement in her voice when she told me she'd been speaking to Ian and told me of his adorable children, Daisy and Joshua. When myself and my late husband, Mr. P, as he was affectionately known by Louise, and myself met Ian, we were very pleased that Louise had met such a reliable and caring person. There was only one thing about Ian that we were concerned about and felt that could do with some improvement. And I think this may help. Ian's jokes definitely need some improvement. As you can tell, I'm so incredibly proud of Louise and could ramble on for hours. But as the mother of the bride doesn't have a place in the speech lineup, I'll finish now. I would just like to say that I welcome Ian, Daisy, Joshua and the extended family into our family with open arms. And I wish Louise and Ian a long and happy marriage. Please raise your glasses with me and wish Ian and Louise much happiness in their life together.
Louise.